Okay, we're getting into how to install a shower flex liner between the mortar and the sub pad, which you can see is already installed. It's an existing bathroom remodel, completed and installed by others. And you can see at this point, the drain is in its original place. The wet bed's obviously been removed. And the liner you want to lay in there on top of your curb, up and over and around. You can see the curb retainer where the lift has already been installed. That's going to be the retainer for the water and the shower base itself. Okay, once that's completed, your curb lift, you lay your liner out. You want to try to maintain 3 to 4 inches around each perimeter. You never want to cut anything on the interior of the curb liner. You see if the corner that'll be folded, tucked, and then stapled at the top, and the mortar itself will retain and push the corner inwards. Okay, so first thing we want to do is you want to locate your drain, which you can see by the marking is already there, and the ring retainer is going to bolt down. So once that's pressed in, then it'll be cut out like so, and you want to leave your perimeter free. You don't want to tack or staple any of the liner until this ring set is put in. Okay, what I did was a preliminary cut where the 2-inch drain is, and then I found each hole for the 3 bolts that are going to be installed, and your cup is aligned over top of, and then you start out each of your bolts, and then we'll check back once that's bolted down. Okay, you can see that the shower retainer for the drain is now installed. You can see it's pressed down, and again, everything is still loose, nothing is fastened to the perimeter of the frame, and that's what we're going to set up on doing now. Okay, everyone installs a little bit differently. My recommendation is obviously not to cut the liner in any way whatsoever. So what you'll do is you'll tuck the corners down to the floor, press upward, and at about the 3-inch mark, if you have that available, staple the liner. And make sure there's at least a distance here of 2 to 3 inches. I like 3 inches. Seems to work best for me. Push and tuck the liner as you go. And again, staple. And you want to do that all the way into your corner. When you get to your corner, a simple fold, tuck, and you really have to work to get this in there. Crease it down, don't cut it. And then come back over and install a staple, and then you can work on your corner. And when you work on your corner, you want to tuck it so it's manageable. My recommendation, again, 3 inches. You come up, get it right at the crest, or right at the contour, and put 2 staples in the corner, up high, so you don't have to worry about leakage. I'll show you a quick close-up. Okay, what you'll find when you get towards your middle, after your end is secured, you want to pull this taut so you get a nice smooth run against the wall. You'll find that you have a lap crease. And again, my recommendation, and everybody's different, you don't want to cut it. You can press it downward, fold it over in the middle, push it down to the base, and then attempt to get a staple in there at 3 inch. Nothing lower. And that would be the finish on the middle. Now you can come back this way and install the perimeter. And that'll be your finished product on its end all the way around. Okay, this finishes the interior of the shower. So you can see there's a nice perimeter. Nothing is stapled below 3 inches. Fabric actually goes up about 6 inches, but that's okay. More the merrier as far as I'm concerned. Makes things a little bit easier to install. And you'll see all the way across. There's your fold. Now don't worry about the crease. The mortar will weight that down. All the way across. Same thing. Tucked in corner. Follow that all the way over. And then that ends the front of the shower. Okay, to start on your curb area, what I like to use is a piece of wood or a block. And we're going to tuck it down and really push hard, because the odds of you ripping this liner are very remote with a piece of wood. And once that's done, I like to curl wrap it and then actually install your staple to the outer perimeter. Okay, once that's done and tucked, you can see it's obviously up in the air. And then what I like to do is I take my hand and I'll curl it up and around. Let's give it the right zoom here. I'll curl it up and over and down, because we already know that's taut and that's to the corner. And at that point, then you can run your staple across the top. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you're putting holes in the top. What you want to remember is this is going to get a wonder board or a cement board on here. So this will naturally have holes in it from the screws with that, which will seal as we go. Okay, what you're seeing, excuse me, what you're seeing now is once it's formed around your stop, you can see from its interior to its exterior, drapes up and over and down over the curb, right onto the cement board. And again, you can staple, because this will also get cement board on the outside as well as the top, and a run on the inside for a tile to be applied. So you want to cut your excess off at that time. And then what we're going to deal with are the tricky miters or corners here, and how to get those in without damaging or cutting the actual liner. We want to continue with one piece. Okay, you're always going to have at least one relief cut somewhere in order to finish this out. And so what I like to try to do is keep it away from the wet area, which is kind of on the outside here, even though it's not. The reason being, you have to be able to fold and manipulate where you need this liner to be. If you look at it this way, you have a little bit of exposure here. However, at the same time, you can put an under patch, which really, there's not an expectation of a lot of water here. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's at least covered and protected anyway, just in case something comes through. So if you do it that way, that can also work. And then I would recommend sealing this V-cut around here with a high-grade silicone, and that'll keep any potential for undermining. Okay, once completed, this is what it should look like at your ends. All continuous piece. There is a fold right here, which you can manipulate once you put your board over top of it, which would be your cement board for your tile backer. And again, obviously it wraps all the way around. This is the best way to do it when you get to the very front. If you look right here, you can see I did make a relief cut, and then I folded one end in, wrapped the other end around, and again that'll give board coverage all the way around it. So this little bit of area here shouldn't be a problem. It is outside of the shower area. And then we'll continue down to the next side. Let me show you the finished product when it's all done. Alright, wet bed liner is completely finished. Everything is nicely wrapped. You can see the left hand corner. Again, you'll see the one little miter which was made. And then there was another piece tucked up and under to prevent anything from leaking with the silicone underneath of that. Everything folds down. Formed real nice. Same corner on the other side. And you see how that wraps around. And again, where you see the little extra tuft in the corner, which would be like right in this area, right in here. Not a big deal. We could press that down as we go with the cement board prior to tile. So this is what it should look like. That's complete. Now one more thing, if you're going to buy or attempt to buy the liner at a box store, maximum width that they usually go is 4 foot. This particular shower is 6 foot. My piece coming out from the wall out was 5 foot, and you can see I ended up with maybe about a foot, or I'm sorry, it was 7 across by 6 foot out. So plumbing shops and plumbing supply houses usually carry 6 foot in length. So there's 1 foot cut off, which was the outer perimeter, and that leaves you with a 5 by 7 shower. Okay, in this next video, the wet bed liner you can see is finished. We're going to install a 6mm poly vapor barrier to all 3 walls, and what that's going to do is prevent any moisture from seeping through grout, tile board, etc. You want to protect the insulation that's in there, keep any mildew growth, and the 6mm poly will actually do that. It's stapled from the top to the bottom, which I'll install. When I get halfway through it, I'll show you. It's quite simple. That's a brief finish of the poly vapor barrier. Again, your diverters just push through. Not a big deal. Draped over top of the liner. Now when the board goes over, that'll sandwich all that together. And that's what assures you that you're not going to get any moisture or vapor behind the wall, which can cause hidden mildew and rot.